Can you guys unmute yourselves if you need to say something? Does it allow you to unmute? Can you hear me? Everybody, can anybody hear me? Thumbs up? Yeah, okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right.
Yeah.
Only Discover has no annual fee on any card. This right here is that you calibrate out.
We'll get started in about a couple more minutes as we allow time for folks to come in. We'll get started in a couple more minutes. Hopefully everyone had a great day today. Get a good start to your week.
Everybody see the Arnett family on the news tonight?
Nope, we weren't privy to that. We'll look for it.
Well, what was the Arnett family talking about?
It was, I guess they formed a basketball for life or something.
It's Ball for Life.
Sorry.
Yeah, been around for quite a few years.
Well, they were on tonight's news.
I was gonna say, you better do it now. You have to get Amber up in her bed with her ears on top of the thing. Okay.
We resolved the cooking issue, by the way.
What happened?
The cooking issue was resolved. I got one of them on.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. I see that no one is trying to get in, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Let me get ready to share my screen. And we get ready for our general meeting here for September 14th, 2020. And we're ready to start. Again, I ask everyone to, where you are, honor our flag as we say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Just remind everybody again, keep yourself on mute unless you have something to say, or you can put your questions in the chat box and we will definitely, as we've done so, but we will try to make sure we can keep everyone silent so we have a lot of information to share tonight. So please make sure you keep yourself on mute unless you have a question or have a comment to make. We don't try to limit as much background noise as we can, and we'll move forward. This is our standard agenda, so we will get again into have our secretary's report, treasurer's report. I will give a general update. We have our signers update, school district update, and then we'll get into our training session for tonight. And first up would be Brian. Is Brian Carlton on?
Yep, I'm just trying to unmute it right now, Travell. Sorry about that.
No problem.
We have the secretary's report. I didn't see that up there or anything. Was it on? Did you show the secretary's report?
Yeah, it's up. Can you see it? It's not showing?
No, I just see my name in the secretary's report. All I do is I am taking attendance to the meeting here, so I am asking everyone to go up to the chat room and just put your name on there. So I am taking attendance, making sure that everybody gets credit for being at the meeting. So if you could do that, please do that.
Thank you, Brian. Justin Lucas, are you on board?
Travell, I am on, yes.
Okay, we'll go with the treasurer's report.
All right, everyone can see our BB&T operating account has that amount. Our arbiter account has the 109.76 for a total balance of $10,865.41. Just a few notes. We are still waiting receipt of approximately $3,900 from private schools for flag football and the 2019 and 2020 assignment fees. Those invoices have went out and emails have went out. We're starting to receive some of those payments. If you're planning to officiate football or be a clock operator, just a reminder, dues can be paid on the ECFOA website through the PayPal. Or if you want, you can send a check to the PO box. If you have any question whether you have paid dues, you can feel free to put it in the chat room, and I will get back to you. That's all I have. Any questions in reference to the treasury report?
Thank you. Any other, if you have any questions, again, put it in the chat box and we'll definitely be able to follow up. Justin will definitely follow up with you. All right, we will move to quickly. So I'm gonna give a quick update. So as most of you know already, we have started the football season this past week. We had 3 varsity games for the private schools. And so we do have, we have all of those schedules in. And they are, you know, and Bob and Bernard and Bob are starting to make those assignments to the varsity crews. And we do have a limited middle school and JV schedule. So again, but I'll let Bob and Bernard speak to you guys about that when they get ready to come up to speak. But private school games are coming up. We're going to do our best to make sure, you know, everyone that is registered with us locally and with the FACAA, that you have get an opportunity to get some games in the coming weeks. So we just ask for your patience. We're going to try to make sure we spread it around to make sure everybody gets an opportunity to get some games until we get our public schools, which will be a little bit more, you know, have more games for us to share. But we are in the private schools, so we're looking at about over the next couple of weeks, you know, 3 or 4 games as far as the varsity schedule moving forward. But I want to make sure everyone that is planning on doing football, that you are registered with us locally as well as with the state, and as well as getting prepared to take the test. So we're going to talk about that in our training session tonight about testing. So again, and Yetta's going to give an update in a few minutes about those that need their Jessica Lunsford badge. I'm going to stop this share and I'm just going to go over briefly with you the plan that was put in place or presented to the school board on last week. And we're going to just give you some highlights of what that looks like for the public schools that will be starting here in October. So I'm going to quickly stop this share and share this other part. Hold on here. All right, let's see if we can get that. All right, so basically this is the athletics administrator has put together a plan on what's going to look like for football here for the public schools to return. And so this is basically a timeline. They're looking to start, as you see, we'll jump to phase 2, September the 21st. They're looking to October 3rd. They're going to start with players being conditioned and so forth. They're going to start practicing at some point between the period of October 12th through the 16th. And they're going down to phase 6, jumping to competition starting October 30th. So that's some good news. I mean, the county moved into phase 2. And so that's given us another opportunity to do football here when, you know, a month ago, it didn't seem like it was plausible. Then they're going to look at having Thanksgiving week, all teams will be off. So all teams will have 1 week off. And then we're going to go to show you the kind of the next. So this is just a plan for all the other sports. When we get to phase 2 for football. All right, here we go. So what they're looking at, and here's the key part, I want to make sure that kind of what the public school season will look like as it relates to football. So a lot of this is, again, they're, put this plan in place to mitigate, making sure everyone is safe, making sure the players, they have a lot of practices they're putting in place as far as their practices. And then, of course, they have decided to host all the football games this season at 3 neutral sites. Those sites are determined to be due to their having their facility and having turf field that would be Wellington in the west, and Boca in the south, and Jupiter in the north. So those all regular season games will be played at those 3 neutral sites each week. There'll be a 7-week regular season with 1 bye week. There'll be 6 regular season games played mostly against Palm Beach County schools. As we said, across the board, bye week will be the Thanksgiving week. And then they're going to look like to try to do a bowl game per school in week 7. And that's going to be versus kind of tri-county opponents. We're going to continue to still follow our guidelines that we put in place. They're going to work with us to, as it relates to the district, putting together their guidelines and what they're, expect of us once we get to those campuses. And they will be played, so they'll be played on, these games will be played on Fridays and Saturdays. So it'll be 1 Friday night game at 6 o'clock and 3 Saturday games at 10 a.m., 2 p.m., and 6 p.m. Okay? So this is kind of, so all, they're going to hopefully put together a schedule in the coming weeks, and that'll be worked out to be played at those 3 neutral sites across a Friday night and then 3 Saturday games. We are looking at, I had a conversation literally just about 30 minutes ago with the district around us providing the court handling the chain crew. And that we did tell them that we, as we've been practicing and as part of our policy, that we will be following the ball mechanic that was put in place by the FSAAA, that we will not be handling the football during these games. So they will work to put together a good, have a good ball boys, which were, beneficial in making the game flow. So we did talk about those are 2 different things that'll be definitely different for the teams, because they won't, they will have to be in control of the ball. And then having our officials to cover the chain crews. Just a couple other things that we're going to just make you aware of. Let's get down to for sub-varsity. So they're looking at doing sub-varsity games in January. So they're looking at no sub-varsity for public schools will happen when the season starts up in October. That will start up in January. And they're going to follow the same format that they've done with the public schools. Okay. As we get more information about that, definitely be to share. But the reasoning behind it is that, again, with the distancing and the number of football athletes, they would not be able to practice the health methods or mitigations that they put in place. So they thought it was the best interest to put the sub-varsity in January timeframe.
Hey, Travell, just as a reminder, I saw it at the bottom, but there'll be no double headers. It's going to be 1 varsity team per school, so there'll be no double headers.
Thank you for that reminder. Yes, thank you. And if I'm not, and I think they did mention, I think they did mention that they may only have 1 sub-varsity per school. Yeah, well, that's 1 sub-varsity, so they won't be a freshman and a JV team. It'll be 1 per school. So that's just, that was kind of, that could change, but it is what they stated there. This is just kind of the regular game operations on, on those Friday and Saturdays. They are looking to have, give parents access. Each student or player can have be given 2 tickets. So that's really something that they will handle, but there will be fans at the games. Let me just see here where we get to the official part that's concerning us. There we go. So they, like I say, they're going to look, they're going to do some type of symptom check and certification prior to working games. Just to give you kind of a heads up, I know what our crew that we had on this past Friday night, we did when we went to King's Academy. They did a temperature check, they did an oxygen level check, and we had to answer some questions. But again, so that whatever that is, that will be to be determined and let you know what that looks like. And of course, we are going to be implementing our own FSA guidelines that we've already stated as mandatory or for our officials. We're asking that anybody that just as a way from a safety precaution, but we want to be cautious of HIPAA violation, any HIPAA things, that if anybody during these games, if you happen to, God forbid, get this virus, that you will self-report to myself, that we can not share your name, but at least let the crew know and the district know that someone that was a part of a recent game has tested positive, and that's more so everyone can be, can take the necessary safety precautions or quarantine if they've been exposed. So if you do test positive, we're asking that you self-report to myself and definitely your crew chief, so everybody on that crew can, follow the recommended of quarantining, and we can notify the district so those players that may potentially have been exposed, that they can quarantine as well. So we definitely want to be sensitive to your personal health things, but we also want to make sure that anybody that's been exposed, that they have, they at least be notified and that they can take, be quarantined and take any necessary steps for themselves. And I'm going to stop there, and I will see if there's any questions on this here particular plan, or just any thoughts. I don't know if anything is in the chat room, Vince, but are there any questions in reference to the public school or private school games?
We had a question in the chat room, but it's not relevant to the guidelines you just went over. So when you're done with that.
Okay, thank you. So I guess everybody must be clear. Okay, hopefully everybody's excited that we have an opportunity to get some, it's going to be kind of an extended season, but we got some football. And I want to just reiterate during this time, and I said it at our last meeting, again, that if you have any underlying health conditions or you don't feel comfortable, we are giving you an opportunity. You have the option to opt out for this season. And if you're a varsity official or on a crew, you will not lose your varsity crew status as it relates to this season if you decide to opt out. Because again, at the end of the day, you're ultimately responsible. You know your health situation, you know what's going on with you, and you want to make sure at the end of the day, if you have any type of concerns, that you take it upon you to opt out. Because we don't want you to say that somebody forced you or you felt obligated or you want to get some football in. But I think at the end of the day, there is a degree of risk when you go into any type of conditions. Well, I think what's favorable is that we're outside. We have been, I think, wearing masks. We did, maybe we'll allow some folks to just talk about their experience on Friday and wearing the mask and so forth during the game, and just kind of, but like I say, we want to give everybody an opportunity. If you want to opt out, please make sure you email me the deadline to let us know what you're going to be doing. It's going to be September 28th. So the 28th is really the last day that you can register with the FACAA. That's will be the last day that you can register with the local. And so at that time, you would need to make a determination if you're going to do any football for this season. All right.
Hey, Travell, a couple of things come up. The first one is, will there be access for officials to observe games? So obviously, if someone's not working, can they come out and watch, either the Friday night or one of the 3 contests at the 3 different locations on Saturday?
So currently, if you would like to go out, you would need to get currently for the private schools, if you would like to go out, you would need to get with that crew chief, and you would need to go to be a part of the game. You would not go as a fan, and you would need to arrive with the crew. and not be there as a fan. So that means you would need to go to be a part of that crew for training. For the when we get into the public school season, the first thing we're going to need as many bodies. If we're going to be in charge of the chain crew, that would be your opportunity to be a part of the chain crew, because we'll need chain crews at each one of those game sites on a Saturday, and potentially for the multiple games. So we'll utilize those times as the way for those that would like to observe, to get some training, especially for our first and second year guys. This, you know, that you've not been on the field yet, that you can really see some game action and ask some questions. But anybody that wants to be observed, you cannot go, you cannot utilize your pass that you got. You would have to go as an official. You have to be with the crew that will be going, and you would have to dress appropriately in your black pants, black shirt, and so forth, that you will be a part of the crew. But you will not be allowed to go as a fan to just observe games, or, you know, unless you have a child that plays football. I hope that answers your question.
The other question was reference to, will there be separate restrooms assigned for the officials at every high school football game in Palm Beach County? So in other words, if they're going to be fans, as far as the facilities for the officials, would that be separate from access from anyone other than the officials?
Yeah, I mean, I think that definitely. We asked them for, of course, you know, separate parking, and we're not going to be utilizing, you know, the field, you know, the dressing room. We're going to come dressed to these games. However, there we told them you will have a spot on the field for water, tent, and chairs. And then, of course, you know, given it, will definitely the crew chief can, you know, confirm that you would need separate restrooms. So that definitely can be accommodated.
Okay, and then the last question relative to this, are schools providing refreshments during and after games? And I can answer that. No, part of our agreement and part of the guidelines was that the officials will provide their own water, or refreshments and snacks for the game. So the crew chief will be, or designated person of the crew will be providing that for the crew.
Okay. Were there any more questions? All right, so if there are no other questions, just as a reminder, again, just some general reminders. If you want to officiate games, you need to go ahead and get registered. These are your opportunities to register. Deadline is the 28th. The fall sports exam is open at this here time, and it will go through October 5th. So I do want to remind folks that this is a different test this year than we've had in the past. There was a different organization that put the test together. And so, as we've known in the past, we've been able to utilize the National Federation kind of practice test to help us. And a lot of those questions that were on the practice test were on the exam. Well, this test this year is definitely different. And it's not, you know, and so it's following more of a casebook model. And so you need to review. If you don't have a casebook, you can order a casebook. We have placed a casebook, a PDF of a casebook online at the website that you can print off, that you can utilize to help you take the test. So we definitely suggest that, you know, you take your time and going through this test. Definitely you cannot wait to the last minute, that you utilize these 2 or 3 weeks to continue to study. Again, you can go in and take 1 or 2 questions a day, review them. And I found out on, you know, one of the steps that someone talked about on Friday night was you can go to the test and print out each question, and then go read the book and look at the question. You don't have to submit it, but you can go back in once you get all the answers on the paper version of your test. So it's just a lot of different tips. We're going to talk about that once we get into the training part, but I just want to remind everybody, do not take this test for granted. Take your time and force to make sure. You definitely have to get a 75 if you're going to work varsity games. If you're a crew chief, you need to make at least, I believe it's an 80 or 85. I'll confirm that before we get off the Zoom link tonight. So definitely take your time as you move through with this test.
Okay, JaVale, question in the chat box relative to this. Since there are fewer games this year, will the dues be waived or will they be reduced? Or is there any consideration to either?
That the dues have not been waived, and the only dues that have been waived is the flag football dues for the upcoming season, because those that paid last year, we gave them a since they only got through maybe the first 2-3 weeks, so their dues for the spring season will be waived. But at this time, the local one has not been waived or reduced. Our fees are always been at a kind of at a low level as always. So that it's not been, because we're expecting again while there is a decrease in the number of games, there may be also a decrease in the number of officials, and there'll still be an opportunity to still get a good number of games for guys for the season. But at this time, they have not been waived. Was that it? Is all the questions?
Yeah, that's all the questions. There's a question reference to the electronic whistle. If we order an electronic whistle through the association, when can you expect to receive it?
Yes. So in fact, the whistles should be coming in this week. Once I will contact Fred tomorrow. I think they were supposed to be here by they were getting delivered today. So I will confirm with Fred, when we can get them picked up. And I will send an email out that when I'll probably do like I did last time, set a time where you can come pick them up. The cost will be $25. And we only ordered for those that I sent out an email 2 weeks ago. We only ordered for those that requested them. Now, if you did not send me an email, then your name is not on the list to receive them. I did ordered a couple extra, but if you did not email me, you need to do so I can, as soon as possible, or put in the chat box that you would like an electronic whistle, and we'll see with our leftovers if we can get you one. But they will hopefully have them this week, so we can get them to guys. So maybe if we can get them maybe by Thursday, we'll try to set up a date where guys can meet me maybe at my job, and we'll get them distributed. So once I get them, look out for an email from me on this week.
There's a question in reference to our treasurer. What are we doing with $11,000? It literally says, what are we doing with 11 grand?
I'm sorry, I just gotta laugh.
I can't make this up. That's just right there in black and white.
Yeah, I love it. All right, and listen, I don't have no way but be honest and tell you we will as a board will continue to work to look at some things, maybe even going into next year, definitely considering maybe reducing our fees, maybe looking at some other things that we need to do. But we will discuss it as a board to look at, how, because we are considered, per se a nonprofit. We're not in here to make a profit and keep monies in our, but we want to, utilize, your funds in the best way that's appropriate. So we as a board will make a plan and get back with you. So there's no answer to that at this time. And if you have ideas, please, we're all open. I'm open to anybody that have ideas. This is not a one-person association. This is an association of over 120 members. And we as a board, we represent those folks that are part of the association that are paid members. And so if you have any ideas or recommendations, please feel free to email me and give us ideas on, things that you would like to see as it relates to that. But at the end of the day, we're not going to just go out on a spending spree, because again, these are, in my mind, these was I just use this terminology, these are taxpayer dollars. And so I work for a government agency, and we don't just spend other people's monies willy-nilly, but we want to make sure there's, we do that, and, we have some intention and we have a purpose behind what we do. But that is a good question.
Okay, Travell, this one says, I guess one of the I guess one of the requests would be to waive the dues this year since we're sitting on 11 grand. Someone else said, how about purchasing case books? These are just some ideas. I'm just rattling them off.
Okay. Okay. Good.
And then someone else says the board should provide electronic whistles and PPE for those that are working this year.
Okay.
Somebody else said pay for a 6-man. You guys, just
Okay.
let me step in for a second. One of the things that we are considering this year, since someone mentioned 6-man, is potentially down the road we'll be doing some 7-man mechanics, and we'll be providing probably paying for the two additional officials. So as we go through and look at the numbers, it won't be for every game, but we're definitely looking at doing some games that way. That way we can get some additional guys trained on our 7-man mechanics. So, again, if the budget allows for that, that's what we'll be looking at.
And the other thing just to make sure everybody knows, well, again, there are still some things that we still have to pay for this year: signer fees, website, and so forth. So some of that stuff has not come out yet. Well, not the website. Some other things need to come out. So that definitely amount will be reduced. But please, all of these ideas are great ideas. We will bring them to the board. And again, these are not decisions that I make. This is a board has to approve these things. So I'm glad that you guys are putting these ideas in the chat box and you're making us aware, so the board can hear your voice and make those approval. I do not have any authority to spend this money. So I want to make that perfectly clear, but it has to be something that comes from the membership to the board, and the board approves these particular things. But I'm thankful that you guys have given us some ideas and things that we can maybe make happen, hopefully in the next coming weeks. All right. Any other questions?
It's nothing else in the. That was the last one in the chat box.
Gotcha. All right, we're going to move on. We just did general questions. So we'll move into our signers update. We'll move into our signers update. We'll have Bernard, and then we'll have a school district update from Yetta.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hope all is well and staying healthy. As far as an update for the assignment, Travell's already told you that the private school that started out, unfortunately, we only have about 6 private schools that we're servicing. So that's actually playing football. So even though it sounds like there's games out there, there's minimal. And the fact that often they're playing one another. So we're getting maybe about 3 varsity level games a week. On average between the private schools that we're servicing. As the sub-varsities, I know that you guys got an email. We got a tremendous response from the emails on referencing to sub-varsity or middle school contest. And the response was great. We got the response, but about 17 or 18 of them actually came from varsity level officials. Was hoping to get more from the sub-varsity guys to get you opportunities to work. Like 1 out of all of the requests that responded to the emails was actually a sub-varsity individual. That being said, it's also minimal middle school games. We got an overwhelming response. I got phone calls today. We got texts today thinking like, oh, well, when is my games happening this week? What day am I going to work? And in reality, we had 2 middle school assignments this week. Right now, there's only 2 middle school assignments hosted next week. So the opportunities are somewhat limited. We're hoping that it will branch off. The chain crews, traditionally in the past, we have not gotten many requests from the private schools. Often they're having their own, so those opportunities there are not there presently. And also on the middle schools, the one middle school that normally would ask for a clock operator is the Benjamin School, and they're not fielding middle school athletics right now. So it doesn't sound like the best of news, but we're hopeful that we will continue to pick them up, and hopefully they don't keep playing each other and add greater opportunities there. But we're trying to do our best to spread the wealth as best possible. And in part, the reason for the email is that we understand that there's limited individuals that has the schedule flexible enough to do a 4 o'clock in the afternoon middle school game, or even the Jupiter Christian varsity game starting 4 in the afternoon. So if you have that sort of a flexible schedule, then it's advantageous to you. Okay, so we don't want others to say, well, I saw you getting 3 games, I got 2 games, but it may be that 3 games could be a middle school game and a clock somewhere, not necessarily the system just show that they got games. But we are doing our best to make it equitable. At the same time, we have to make sure that the schools get service. Okay, so that being said, part of our problem is that we have a number of individuals that has not taken care of their responsibilities. We've asked time and again, every meeting pretty much, make sure that you're going in, you're closing out your close date, that you are making sure of your earliest time available is in the slot, so you're not in a position that you're having to turn it back. And in addition to that, make sure that you're eligible, that you've taken care of your just Lunsford responsibilities, you've taken care of your FHA dues and responsibilities, you signed up with the locals. Because we have guys that even, unfortunately on varsity crews that we're trying to check with your crew chief. This guy's not showing registered with the state. This one's not showing registered with the local ECFOA. And it's not our responsibility at this point to see that you've taken care of your responsibility so that we can find work for you. If you guys are doing your part and handling your responsibility, showing that everything is in place, it makes our job as a signer so much easier. Okay, we're trying to be equitable, but we need your assistance and doing those things that are expected of you. Okay, so if you hadn't already done that, let's get it on board so that we can move forward. We're calling folks and they're saying, well, the check's in the mail and all that good stuff, but we need to put these schedules in like now, or the assignments in. Okay, so either myself or Bob, we are accessible. In fact, even yet, I talked to her again today. She said, hey, whatever I can do to help out, if I have to take a call or whatever we need to do, then we want to make sure that you guys are getting taken care of, and that we're meeting our obligations to the member schools that we service. Is there any questions for me in reference to assigning? There is a possibility that we may have a second clock position that opens up at King. I'm understanding, from last week that they are attempting to run the 25 or 40-second clock, and they just kind of like wanted to have the back judge double. That it's not the back judge's responsibility. We made a clarification on that. What we've done in the past when Oxbridge was in that predicament, they paid for a second clock operator. If you go to any playoff game, the state memo indicates that they will pay for a second clock operator. Otherwise, they don't run that 25 or 40-second clock on the field. Okay, so we're in communications with King to let them know, and they're gonna, I guess, respond one way or the other if they want us to provide that service for them. The only other one I know may have a clock operator down there that may have that clock on the field, maybe American Heritage, but we have not heard from them in that regard. But if any of your crew chiefs are going to those spots, keep that in mind. We don't want you to set a precedent and say, oh yeah, my back judge is super, he'll double dip and do it. And then the next guy go down there trying to get things done the right way is in the pickle. They say, oh, well, the guy did it last week. And then the guy that did it called us to say that it was a nightmare trying to do it all because it's not your responsibility. So that's where we are on that. Hopefully that opportunity will come up, and that way we can, spread the wealth a little around even further. So on that note, if you have questions for me, you can bring them up now. I can entertain the questions. you can always email or give me a call, text, either myself or Bob, and certainly we'll be glad to respond.
Nothing in the chat box.
Thank you, Bernard.
Certainly.
Yetta?
Okay, it's good to be here with everybody and to always be involved. I will make a distinction here. This says school district update. Travell gave you a very thorough school district update when he went over all of the procedures that were presented in the school district re-engagement plan. And as presented to every group, it was a kind of a silence because everybody's happy the games are happening, but everybody had to readjust to some of the information that Travell was given about the 25% of the games on Friday night and the other 75% on Saturdays at 3 locations. So those are the changes that are coming. That was really the school district update. So I want to make certain everybody understands that was direct from the school district. It was presented to the school board. And now I think they are still tweaking a few things in there. Is that what she said? Did she indicate that, Travell, a little bit?
Yes, there's still, maybe some minor changes.
Right.
Once they talk into, we're going to be meeting weekly. So if anything changes, I'll definitely share with the board and the membership.
Right. So the main thing that I do need to tell you is it was a struggle to get it, but I did get the link where you go to register for your Jessica Lunsford and for fingerprinting. I'm going to send it out in an email for Travell to send out. If some of you had gotten in touch with me individually, I did try to send it out. It is the email itself, the email site that you have to go to is 2 lines long. So it's like breaking into the CIA or something, I guess. But anyway, you have to have it correctly. So we're going to give it to you. So you just click on that link. But when you go there, and this is important because you're not going to see the category of sports referee. You will not see it. There will be vendors and contractors, and you'll click on the link that says vendor. And therefore, it's going to tell you that you have to pay $99. However, the reason I didn't release this any earlier is I sent a couple of trial cases there to take care of it. Once you go there and tell them you're a sports referee, you will be able to pay the regular or the long time standing $47 that we normally pay. So I hope you hear me, and I'm going to give Travell all those directions to send out with the link. Once you go to the link, you have to choose your appointment date, just like you do. Some doctor's offices do it, or if you're going to get blood work done, the calendar comes up and the open dates are there. And you click like, oh, I can go next Wednesday at noontime, or I can go next Friday at 8 a.m. And you make your own appointment from the available dates. And that's your appointment time. And you need to be there on time to keep that appointment time. It's not just show up anymore. And it is not inside the school district headquarters building. None of us have been allowed back in there. I haven't been back in there since March 20th, and most of us have not been except for the tech people and school police. They had taken it for a while to a school bus compound, but those are up and running, getting ready for the bus drivers. So they brought it back to the campus of the district headquarters, but it's in one of the outlying buildings. It's a building that has a big D on it, near where the little lake is where you park. There are 2 outlying buildings. One is E and one is D. And that, I think it's in that D building is where you would go. But all of these directions will be given to you. I'm going to get with Travell. He'll send it out. And like I said, if you get with me or have gotten with me, you might get your own special from me. But I tried it out. I think it works. If you're updating for a 5-year, if you're doing a 5-year new, you have to bring in, again, your social security card. If you do not have your social security card, they will not take a passport or any other kind of card. They will sometimes take a 1099 or a W-2 form from a reputable employer. So if you have one from the school district from a prior year recently, you could bring that with you. If you have problems finding your social security card, just get up in with me and I will make some suggestions as to what you can do. But you're gonna waste your time if you go there without your social security card or at least a 1099 or a W-2 form to substantiate that number. Okay, so I don't want you to waste your time or their time for an appointment. You do have to have your money. I believe they're still taking money orders, but they do now. Of course, everybody's going, cashless. So they do take credit cards and debit cards when their machines are working. So you'll be able to do that. And I'm not certain, because I haven't gotten with anybody exactly how you get these badges, but I think they might give you an envelope to fill out to mail it back to you, or it could be picked up. At some point, they're going to hold them and get them to me, but at this point, I'm not a pickup at that because they don't want to put an extra person in there. So that's the way it's going to work. If you have lost your badge and you have some years left on it, they still do have just a plain $6 refresher that will just give you the time left on your badge. But you have to make an appointment. You have to go to the link, make an appointment, and go in and you pay your $6, and then you get a badge with whatever time was remaining on it if you have lost it. Obviously, if it doesn't have that much time left on it, you might as well just go ahead and get the new badge. So if there are any questions, Travell, I'll entertain them. If not, most of you have my phone number and my email, and I'm still answering my phone all the time and my email, and I'll get back to you. Any general questions at this time?
Yeah, the questions in the chat box you've already answered. Reference to someone asking about a money order. You already went over that. How you can pay the different ways. Someone asked about how you receive the badge. You just went over that. So
Yeah. When you're there, they'll tell you how you can receive it. I think it might be, I'm not certain. The question came up and at first they told me no, they weren't going to let people come back in and pick it up because that means another visit there while they've got their appointments spread out. But I'm not 100% certain on that, and I haven't gotten a definite answer. So you'll find out when you go there. Just be certain you do say sports referee, but when you sign up, it's going to say vendor and it's going to say $99. So just don't freak out at that. Okay. And I'm always here to help you out. As I told Travell and Bernard, I still want to be of whatever service I can to the group. I really appreciate all of you hanging in there through this difficult time. And it's just good to see that you all are well and safe. And that's the important thing. Thank you.
Hold on, Yetta.
Yes. Yes.
You didn't quite answer my badge question. My badge was due last year.
Well, you're going to get a new one, and you'll get a new one as of the date.
No, I re-upped and did the recertification last year, and it should have been done last year, but I hadn't received my badge yet. I was expecting to think that you'd pass them out in the meeting, like, hey, I got some badges from the office. But
if you never picked it up, I probably do have it at the office, but I don't have it with me. Let me check and see what we can do. In other words, you just never picked it up for me last year, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Send me an email on that and let me check. Obviously, I couldn't, if anybody's been in my office, I couldn't take home my entire office on March 20th, and I didn't think I was going to be gone for this long. There are some badges that were never picked up last year. They are in there. Let me check on that and see. But we know that you're current. You just don't have it with you, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and just send me an email, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I don't know if you're able to type your phone number in the chat box, just in case if any of our new people, they can be able to contact you if they have any issues.
Okay, I'm going to ask Vince or Bernard if they can do that for me.
Okay, thank you. So any of our
can you send it out maybe when you send out?
Yeah, I will do that as well. I will do
with
that.
I'll give you my cell phone and my home phone since I'm not in the office right now. So I'm giving my home phone and my cell phone out. Okay.
Okay. All right. I'll email it out.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to remind folks, please double check that you have your badges. We are going to, over the next 2 weeks, verify because we want to make sure everyone is clear. So we will be, verifying over the next 2 weeks that everybody is updated with their badges for what's in the arbiter system to what you have in hand. So if you do not know where yours is at, you do need to make preparations to get a copy of it. So please, if you definitely don't have it, or you don't even know if you're been clear, you to go ahead and get that link once you get it out and handle your business from that perspective. All right. Any other questions? I can't see the chat box. Any other questions in the chat box, Vince?
No, just some other ideas reference to how to spend that 11 grand.
Okay, all right, good. All right, so we're going to get into the time now is 7:23. We're going to get into our training session, and we're going to bring Corey up and go from there.
Hey guys, we decided to do something a little different tonight. Try to get everyone involved, especially with the test having such a different format this year. We've got a list of questions from people that have taken the test. So, Travell, if you would bring the screen up, we'll look at some of those test questions and get some community involvement in regards to the test. So, as you guys see, you can actually submit your answers. The first question, 2nd and 10 at Team A's 20-yard line. B1 roughs the passer and B2 intercepts the pass on Team A's 30-yard line. He fumbles the ball, which is recovered by A3 at Team A's 35-yard line. All right, I'll give you guys a choice. There's multiple choice. So select your answers and go ahead and submit.
Sorry about that.
All right, guys. Everybody think you got it?
We only got 19. We still got some undervotes.
Okay.
We only got 20 of the 63 folks have voted, so folks are still processing.
All right, we'll give you a few minutes there.
This is going to be some good discussion on this one.
Mr. Matthews, did you answer that question?
Yes, I did about a week and a half ago. That's how come I'm not answering it tonight. But I could ask, hey, we could buy that question for 11,000, right, Travell?
Yeah. So we're about halfway there. 33 of 63 people have responded.
Mine disappeared too. Hey, Travell.
Yes.
I'm not seeing the whole question, because the part where it says when the clock is supposed to start, it says clock starts, and then it's the rest of the question is not showing up in that box.
Okay. Does that show up a little bit better?
Could you shoot it to me again too? It just disappeared on me, please.
Oh, yeah, I can't get it again. So it just says the end question always starts. The clock starts when the ready, or clock starts from the snap. That's how it is.
That's what I figured. Yeah, I just didn't know. Being that I didn't see that part, I didn't know which one was C or B or.
Okay, gotcha. All right, Corey. Looks like we've frozen up at 33. So I guess folks will. Let's share I'll share. If you want me to, how folks have responded to this. Hey, hold on. Are folks still trying to do it before I end it? Okay, here we go. This is the response. So you can see you got a broad, so a lot of, majority of folks went with B.
I would agree.
I would disagree.
Okay.
Agree as well.
I agree with the fact that the penalty has to be either declined or, I mean, it doesn't make a difference one way or the other. You're going to end up on the 35-yard line regardless of whether you accept the penalty or decline the penalty. But the person next putting the ball in play is still the team that had the ball that snapped at the time before. So the clock starts on the ready. Doesn't matter that you had a first down. And it doesn't matter that you had a change of possession. The rule requires that you have a change of possession and the next team putting the ball in play is not the one that put the ball in play last play.
Hey, put Jeff out his misery and just get the answer.
Well, Corey already said he agreed on B.
Continuation starts on the ready, right?
Yes, it should start on the ready.
According to the rule book, it is
Starts on the ready.
Yep.
The answer is A.
Yes. All right, let's go to the next
Corey,
question.
Corey, before, and I think so folks can see, because we had a lot of people, again, I think this is why it's important to take, when you're going through these questions, people can get, just that little, snippet that's ready in the snap was the key thing. So just take your time, understand what's being, what the question is, and read through, and making sure you're understanding how to, apply that rule.
Yeah, Travell, that was the part that I was looking for.
Okay.
And the second time that it popped up, I did get the whole question, by the way.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, let me get the next one ready. Here we go. Hold on. Where'd it go? Hold on, why did it not? Hold on, I'm having some stop share results. All right, let's go to, there we go. There we go. Question 2, there we go.
All right, it's 4th and 10 on K's 30-yard line, K1. K1's punt is muffed by R2 at Team K's 40-yard line. It's picked up behind the neutral zone by K3 at K's 25-yard line. As R players rush him, K3 quickly passes the ball forward to eligible K4, but the pass is incomplete. All right, we got a enough responses, Travell?
We're at folks are still putting in. We're at 59%. 37 have voted. Folks are still voting. Hold on. We'll give you about 20 more seconds. Those that are going to be voting.
Travell, this is Russ Black.
Yes.
So I'm just listening for the phone, so I won't be voting on anything,
I
right?
got you. You can't see it.
Okay.
Sorry about that. All right, question
And the FHSAA would be very disappointed if it took 6 minutes for us to decide on each of these calls. So let's go, guys.
In Poland, here we go. All right, and the majority went with, seemed like it went with B. And then you had some with D.
Mr. Geller, we got another answer there.
I go with B. There is nothing in the rules that prohibits the kicking team who recovers the ball in or behind the neutral zone from either kicking the ball again or from throwing a forward pass or from running the ball. But since they recovered it behind the neutral zone, they have to advance and obtain a first down in order to keep the ball. Since they threw an incomplete pass, it's going to be the other team's ball at the spot of the previous spot, incomplete pass.
Yeah, so guys, just keep in mind, this is one of those rules that we don't really see a lot on Friday nights.
Hey, listen, that's wrong. That's wrong. Because the ball was touched by R beyond the neutral zone. Once it's touched by R beyond the neutral zone and it goes back behind, the team last, in fact, doesn't have to go behind. The team last in possession has the ball. So the right answer is K's ball at the 30.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. If he caught the ball and fumbled it, it'd be a different story. But because it's a muff, if the ball goes back behind the neutral zone, it is just a live ball. It is not something that can be changed of possession on.
You better read the rules again. Anytime a punt is muffed or touched by R beyond the line of scrimmage, the team last in possession has a new series.
A muff does not signify possession.
That's right. You don't have to be in possession. If the ball, it's not touched in the neutral zone. It was touched beyond the neutral zone. And that's a different scenario. So I really believe that if once the ball is touched by R beyond the neutral zone, then whatever team is in possession at the end of the play, it's a new series. Doesn't have to be possessed because then it's a fumble.
So for test purposes, I just took the test today and I had this question. The answer is B, 100%.
So if the ball rolls behind the neutral zone, it can be advanced by either team.
That's right.
The muff does not change possession. The muff is not considered possession. So if the ball rolls behind the neutral zone, it can be advanced by either team. And as I was saying, this is one of the rules that we typically do not see on a regular basis. So this was a good question. And we've actually had conversations, some of the other officials and I, about this particular rule.
And Marty, just in case you want to know, if you go to rule 624, K only recovers the ball if they recover a scrimmage kick while it is beyond the neutral zone. Anything they pick up behind the neutral zone is not a recovery for purposes of a change of possession.
That's correct. Yes.
All righty. We're going to move on to the next one.
Okay, so there's no other question.
Here we go.
Because I got a return call.
Read Article 3. Read Article 3.
Oh, we're on question 3 now.
You guys are wrong.
For the test purposes, Marty, that's the right answer. It's B. That's what it came up with today, 100%.
How do you know? How do you know that? You got 100?
No, it tells you which ones you missed. I happen to have missed 2 questions. That's not one of the ones I missed.
It worked out fine.
All right.
I told you the questions. I don't believe that.
All right. Well, we're moving on to question 3. K1 punts. R2 realizes the kick is shorter than expected, runs forward to catch the kick. R2 has run has to run around K3 in order to catch the kick?
I'll leave that up to your imagination. All right, go ahead, Vince. All right, okay, let me see here what we got.
Travell for us that can't see it. Is that the whole question?
Yes, it is.
Well, I believe Russ is seeing the same thing I am as the question prior to the last one. I'm only seeing half of the answers, half of the potential answers to the question.
Gotcha. Well, Russ is on the phone. He can't see anything at all. All right, we're going to go with 20 more seconds.
Well, the same thing is happening.
All right, 10 seconds. And we are done. Here we go. So everyone went with C.
Did you put the results up, Terrell? Because I can't see them if you did.
Oh, hold on. I didn't hit share results. There we go.
All right, so C, it looks like, is the majority answer. K3 is committed kick catch interference foul. Then enforcement will be 15 yards from the previous spot and replay the down or an awarded fair catch after enforcement of a 15-yard penalty at the spot of the foul. R can accept the result of the play. Is everyone in agreement with that?
Rule 656.
Okay. We'll go to everybody's good. No discussion. Okay, we're going to stop
Let's move to the next. All right. So we got another catching question. R1 signals for a fair catch while the kick is in the air, but the ball lands 5 yards in front of him. As R1 moves to recover the rolling kick, he is blocked in front above the waist without excessive force.
Okay. This one's coming in, the questions, the answers coming in a little bit more quicker here.
Okay.
Okay. All right. We're going to go 20 seconds. Ten seconds. All right, poll will end. And
looks like everyone has chosen no foul protection in when the kick strikes the ground. Do we have any other questions or discussion on that one?
Same rule, 656.
That was for you, Chris. All right, next question.
All right, we have another question about kicks. In free kick formation, the kicker is more than 5 yards behind the free kick line. In an attempt to deceive the receiving team, another player kicks the ball after they're ready for play. The kicker stayed over 5 yards back to help with the deception.
All right, 10 more seconds. All right, here we go. These are our results.
All right. Foul for having a non-kicker more than 5 yards behind the free kick line. Any discussion on that one?
The rule is 613B.
Any questions? No questions? We're moving on to the next. All right. Team A has 3rd and goal at B's 6-yard line. A57 lines up as a running back and receives a backwards pass from A1 and scores.
Terrell, could you repeat that one real quick?
Team A has 3rd and goal at B's 6-yard line. A57 lines up as a running back and receives a backwards pass from A1 and scores.
All right, we go about 10 seconds. All right, testing will end.
All right, so it looks like the majority got this question right at 75%. It is a touchdown for A. Do we have any discussion on that one?
Rule 7-5, Article 13.
No discussion? All right, we'll move to the next. Back to kicking questions, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. On a free kick, K1 drives the ball immediately into the ground. The ball strikes the ground once and goes into the air in the manner of a ball kicked directly off the tee. R2 signals for and makes a fair catch.
About 10 seconds. Five seconds. Three seconds.
All right. That is correct. The majority has got it right. Dead ball foul on K1. We know that if the ball is driven into the ground, a pop-up kick is blown dead immediately.
Rule 6-111.
All right.
Here we go.
All right. This question. 3rd and goal from Team B's 15-yard line. K1 has one knee on the ground at Team B's 22-yard line to hold for an apparent field goal attempt. He catches the snap and without rising, flips the ball to K2, who runs for a touchdown.
All right, we give 20 more seconds. We have some, this may be some, we have some, this may be a little split. This one is split. All right, 10 more seconds. Five seconds. And we are done.
So it looks like we do have some very close results. The majority has chosen touchdown. The ball remains live under the 4-2-2, rule 4-2-2 exception. And the next group of people chose C, the ball becomes dead when K1 flips the ball to K2 without first rising. Do we have any takers for someone that chose A? All right. Any takers as to why they chose C?
And then he flips it. If he doesn't stand up, the ball is dead.
Yeah, he gets
agree.
the exception of putting his knee on the ground to hold for a kick. If he does anything other than kick, he has to remove his knee from the ground before he releases the ball. Otherwise, he's on the ground when he releases the ball, and that's the spot that the ball becomes dead.
So is everyone clear on that?
I
No
think
discussion?
that's a play. I think that's a play on semantics. Lifting my knee doesn't constitute rising.
Yeah, it does, because you're no longer
you're no longer on the
down.
ground.
When your knee's on the ground, you're down. When your knee gets lifted, you're no longer down. Now the only thing on the ground is your feet.
Yeah, I think, and that's probably why, Bernard, they put the knee is on the ground.
Okay, well, it should clarify. That's a vague question. If they say lift your knee, it's different. When I see rising, if somebody rise, they're raising up. To raise up.
Yeah, but they don't have to rise. That's the point. All they have to do is not be
but the
down.
question doesn't say rise. That's why I'm saying that.
Oh,
Well, I get
I
what you're
got you.
saying
Okay.
about the word
And
rags.
semantics, yeah.
Right.
I got you.
Choice.
I'm with you,
And
Bernard.
so it's a few of those other questions that I've heard on the test that play on words like that. So you have to be careful when you read the questions. Any other discussion? All right, Terrell, the next.
That is it.
That's it. So as you can see, guys, we had some differences of opinions, but all in all, we need to just kind of read the test questions fully and understand what they're saying. Don't try to look too far into it. Don't read too much into the plate. Only go by the information that they provided you with. Do we have any questions or discussion about some of the questions that we saw tonight? Hopefully this will give you guys a good heads up if you have not already taken the exam as to what to expect.
Hey,
Just to add,
Jeff Geller, on question 1, why is the answer the 35 rather than the 50?
Because if what you had was a roughing the passer call, and then you had a change of possession.
Okay, thanks.
So you're either going to enforce it from the previous spot, which would have, or you're going to ignore. I don't have the question in front of me, but it's you had to change your possession. So the only place to enforce it was from the previous spot.
Thank you.
guys, also just to remember at the end of the testing cycle, there will, as you review your test, and if you see some vagueness or some questions, and that was one of the reasons we wanted to share some of these questions to get you prepared. But if there's any vagueness, you can review the questions, and we will submit these things to the state because they may have to, bump some questions if it was vague or wasn't very clear. And so the test results do not become official until at least a period after the testing ends, and they review all the questions, or if there was any vagueness, they will throw out some, and that will change your scores. So your testings do not become official until after the testing period is over. So once you review your test and you see anything that you say, just like what Bernard said, that maybe, we definitely have opportunity to submit that information to the state to get, to say, hey, that was vague or it wasn't clear, and they may be able opportunity for some test scores to be thrown out, and that may, change your results.
Yeah, Travell.
Yes.
Can I just wanted to throw one out there to the masses because I'm interested to see what everybody else had to say. This is one of those that I think absolutely is just terrible draftsmanship on the part of whoever crafted the test. The gist of the question, as I recall it, was during, when a play is over, you've got A and B shoving each other. The back judge comes in and reports two unsportsmanlike conduct penalties on A and B. And the choices were A, if it's B's second unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, he's ejected. B, they're offsetting unsportsmanlike conduct penalties and you'll go on to the next down. C, they're offsetting personal fouls and you go on to the next down. And I'm interested to see what everybody else says because this is just a really shitty drafted question because if my back judge came in and reported 2 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, I'm going to slap him upside his head and say, why are they unsportsmanlike and not personal fouls? But how do you answer the question given the way that they asked it?
So Travell, again, I know I had this question. It's been a number of ones. It's Jeremy. So Jeffrey, your answer is 100% correct that it's horribly done if they call it as unsportsmanlike. It really is personal fouls. But for test purposes, because it was reported as unsportsmanlike, if you call it as unsportsmanlike, the actual answer, I believe, was both. It might have been both A and B in that one.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken,
it would be A and B under that circumstance. Okay.
And so that is actually the correct answer for test purposes. So if you see that, but it's again a horrible question because it's a horrible job officiating because you should just report it as personal fouls.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or as a white hat, you should report it correctly.
Thank you.
But if you see that question, the answer is D, both A and B, I believe.
Yeah, that is what I believe they're looking for. So.
All right. So again, this was opportunity again for you guys to see some of the test questions, get yourselves mentally prepared, get some more studying in, definitely get the, review the casebook. Like I said, the casebook is a PDF on the website that you can print off and utilize. But just once you get prepared for the testing, since it is a little different this year. Are there
Travell,
any
if I
other
can give
questions?
one other
Sure, go ahead.
suggestion or one other tip.
Sure. Yeah, please give some. This is a
What I
good
did, and
opportunity.
it's related to what Bernard was saying. So I took each question I had when I first started it, because we have no time limit and we have weeks. So I just opened up a Microsoft Word document, new thing, and I just pasted each question. This year it does tell you which questions you missed. So that's how I know when Marty asked me, that's how I know that I got that other question right, even though it didn't matter. So I would do that, and then, like I said, I worked with somebody else and we double checked and verified, and which is great, because then we make sure, we're talking football, which is really what they want, and getting the answer right. But I would just open up a Microsoft document and copy and paste so you have it, and then you can, just the ones you don't know, you've got plenty of time to look it up.
I don't have to pass.
Anybody else have any other tips as well? Just some general test, real tips before we, dismiss.
Guys must be from New York. Did this test.
Great. All right.
Hey,
Go ahead.
Jeremy, this is Marty. Would you give me a call when you get off this, please?
Sure.
Thank
you.
Hey,
we're going to ask
Travell.
Yes, go ahead.
If you're only doing sub-varsity in middle school, you have to take it still, though, right?
Yes, everybody that is a registered official has to take the test. If you are a clock operator and registered as a clock operator only, you do not have to take the test. If you as a sub-varsity, if you do not pass the test, that will not prevent you from getting games. If you are varsity and you do not make that varsity score, you will not be eligible to do varsity games. If you do not take the test, you will not be eligible to do any games. So it's important that everyone takes the test. But clock operators do not. If you're a clock operator only and register as a clock operator only, you do not have to take the test.
Travell, this
Yes.
is Mike Arnett.
Uh-huh.
Could you give me a call after the meeting?
Will do.
All right.
All right. Are there any other questions? Corey, do you want anything with first and second year transfer guys after the meeting, or are we good to go?
No, we're good to go. If you would, let's just get those 10 questions that we reviewed tonight. If we could get those posted on the website.
Okay, I will send it to Mark. All right. The other thing, if you guys that did not get a chance to get your rules books, you can text me and I can meet up with you somewhere. Use a centralized area. I live in Palm Beach Gardens, and I can meet up. I don't mind meeting with you in a centralized area to give you your rules books. If you want a rules books, just hit me up. If all hearts and minds, yes.
Travell, for the whistles, those of us that signed that list when we were picking up the rule books, we didn't have to email you also, do we?
No, we already got you down. I'm going to email this week once I've received them. I will let you know where we can meet up to get your whistles.
Thank you.
Travell?
Yes.
Paul Compton. I don't know if everybody got Fox 40s like I did, but we had an issue the other night where somebody got an off-brand electronic whistle, and I can tell you there's a major difference between the Fox 40 and some of the off-brands. So,
okay. I don't remember what I don't remember exactly what we ordered, but I'll double check that.
I have a question.
All right, go ahead. Who is this?
This is Trenton Bruton.
All right, go ahead, Trenton.
Good. Those that took the test, I heard there's a lot of questions from the case book. I'm just trying to wonder, what books do I need in order to give myself a shot?
You need the rules book. You need the rules book, and you should have a case book. That would definitely help you. We did you have to buy the case book, but we did put a case book PDF at our website, and you can go on our website and print that off.
Gotcha.
If you want to meet up with me to get a rules book, just hit me up, and I can meet up with you sometime this week.
Okay, what's that number?
561 667 1635. 561 667 1635.
Gotcha.
All right. All right. Any other questions or comments for the good order? It's always good to see everyone, as always. Again, stay safe. And hope to have you have a good rest of your week. Have a good night.
Have a good one.
Good night.
Take care, guys. Take care.
Good job, Mr. Geller.
Good meeting, thank you. Waiting on your call.
Okay. You want to just, hey, Mike?
Yes.
You want to just hang on here real quick once everybody gets off?
All right.
All right.
Good job too, Travell.
Thank you.
Do I gotta leave, Cottrell?
Yeah, everybody's leaving. It's just we're all done. We're all done, Brian.
Hi, Travell, it's Anna. I just sent you a text message, so put me in line when you get a chance.
Okay, will do.
Thank you.
All right, have a good night.
You as well.
All right, folks are still here. You go ahead and dismiss. Mike, I call you.
Okay.
All right.
No problem.
All right.